Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome. It's always a pleasure to meet someone new. Today I have another rare game experience for you guys. If you're new, this is where I go into rare, odd, and often bizarre world of video games, looking for those truly rare experiences. Some of these are unique arcade games, and others are more unusual or one-off gaming experiences that hit consoles and possibly gave some ideas for genres or just anomalies of interest, and today is, well, one of the former, that being an early arcade game based off a popular radio show, which in turn became a popular movie and, well, less known video game. Yep, for those of you who didn't know, War of the Worlds got an arcade game. So if you're curious and would like to know more, grab a snack and a drink and chill out for a while as we go back and look at an old arcade game that you, your parents, hell, maybe your grandparents played for the heck of it. Let's dive in. Now, War of the Worlds was written by H.G. Wells and was serialized in Pearson's Magazine in the UK and the Cosmopolitan Magazine in the US. The full novel was published in its entirety in 1898. That's how old this story is. It is one of the earliest novelizations to detail the conflict between humankind and an extraterrestrial race. The novel itself was a first-person narrative following a character named Suri and his younger brother as they're basically trying to survive an invasion by Martians. The book itself was very popular and has never gone out of print, not once. However, it's gained even more notoriety around, well, October 30th of 1938. And that's when a radio drama came out of the story and was played on the radio itself. Of course, it's a radio. Given that it wasn't prefaced by the fact that it wasn't actually a story or a novelization and played out so convincingly, it actually convinced many people that the Earth was being invaded by Martians and actually caused a mass panic. Yeah, people absolutely freaked out. The main avenue of information, radio news, any kind of news at all, and stories and everything was done by radio. There was no TV. And since then, there's actually been various different movies that have been made about this story. However, what we're interested in today is not the radio dramatization, the novel, or the publication, it's the game. The arcade game, in fact. War of the Worlds was made by Cinematronics. Yep, we're back to vector graphics again, and was released in 1979 on a black and white vector monitor, and then again it would get released on a color monitor in 1982. This honestly wasn't one of the most popular games. It actually got a really limited release, in part because it actually never saw large-scale production. Roughly 10 of these were made to be sold to distributors and trade shows, and according to some sources and to others, it was around 33 in total, making this a very, very limited run cabinet. The reason for this was kind of twofold. The first, and likely most important issue, is that the game was way too easy. You see, most arcade games were designed to be fairly hard. They gave the player around 3 minutes of play per token. This tended to imply that the games that were harder on average would make more money and encourage players to keep coming back to ideally put more and more money into the machine and get more playtime in hopes of actually beating the game. This game apparently was very basic and easy to play, meaning players could play it for a significant period of time. This, of course, made even less money for the operators because people weren't putting as many coins in, which made the game less than popular for arcade, operators. In addition to this, the game was laggy. Apparently, the hardware that they actually built for this game was a bit underpowered, making the game a bit laggy and glitchy when the game was up and running. It was also a rather simplistic control scheme. It had a left and a right button, and a fire and thrust on the bottom and top that would help with evasion and attack. This simple scheme would work fine in 1976 and wouldn't really be out of place, but aged poorly by 1982 when it was revisited in color, and a more normal arcade stick scheme was kind of implemented more in the arcades. We weren't so much in the Wild Wild West as we were standardizing on an arcade stick and buttons at around this time. The gameplay given the scheme I described above was, well, simple. I mean, you're basically playing a turret moving back and forth, dropping the walkers which were prevalent in the show. Each one of them would take multiple hits at a time to fully drop on the ground because you had to shoot off enough of the legs to make them fall. To defend yourself, you'd have a shield that would keep you safe but would only work for so long before it was gone. This was a basic high score related game. Fight till you run out of lives and then try again. I mean, it's a cool looking game, and a pity that it didn't run better or offer more of a challenge to make it more popular, because just looking at the vector graphics of it and how everything moved, it seems very, very interesting to look at. However, the simplistic gameplay, the ease of the gameplay, and the fact that it just never got popular just made it kind of a rarity. However, what do you guys think of this one? Have any of you ever run into it at all? And if so, what did you think? Are any of you fans of the book or the movies based off of it? And if so, which is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. While you're there, if you don't mind, please leave this video a like. It actually really does help out. Also, if you see more of my stuff you like, consider following the channel. That actually helps me out a ton. Till we meet again though, have a great rest of your day, and happy gaming.